what did I learn writing the book, Pirate Money? I'd like to walk through just a few of the themes. And the first one, the most important one maybe, is inflation. And it's been really bad since 1971. You know, that was the year that Nixon took us off the gold standard. I remember it pretty well because I was a 10-year-old kid. And as I mentioned in the book, I remember at age 10, I could buy a Hershey's bar for a dime. I could buy a Spider-Man comic book for 15 cents. I could buy a Slurpee for a quarter and get change. And I could buy a cheeseburger, a set of fries, and a chocolate shake, all for under $1. You add it all up, $1.60 is what I would spend on my perfect summer day, and I can earn that $1.60 in 1 hour's work cutting the front lawn for my house. So it was a good time. Inflation has really crushed us, though. And I talk about that. So that story is actually in the introduction, and I talk about in chapter 1, we get into what money should be. Money should be something that's easy, accessible, it keeps its value, everybody accepts it, it's easy to exchange for things. Unfortunately, what we have as money today, it doesn't function that way. And I explain to you why, in the book, why money that is made solely out of paper was not the original intention. And it is a really bad system over time. I mean, whether it's Zimbabwe, where you see the Zimbabwe paper money where they had to print $100 trillion bills. I've got one up here, 1 million mark, that was printed in Weimar, Germany in 1923, because eventually, if money's not backed by anything, it loses its value over time. So what money should be, I talked about the future of it. What it should be what we've talked about all the time, transactional gold and silver. If we could take pirate money, that's why the title of the book, Pirate Money, like gold doubloons and silver pieces of 8, and we could make them transactional using a debit card, we would have an ideal system of money. So that's chapter 1. What is ideal money? And we use the phrase, money is freedom, or it should be. Well, that's important. When we get further in the book, you'll understand. So chapter 2 is the future of money. And there's a lot of competition, whether it's Bitcoin, or whether it is central bank digital currency, or whether it is the BRICS trying to offer a gold-backed new reserve currency for the world, BRICS meaning Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, a whole group of nations teaming up. What is the future of money? So we talk about Bitcoin. It's a great story. I've shared it before. But the first transaction in Bitcoin was a Papa John's 2 medium pizzas. And I think what they paid 10,000 Bitcoins on May 22nd, 2010, 10,000 Bitcoins. At one point, those 10,000 Bitcoins would have been worth $60 million. That's $30 million a pizza. So is that your ideal money? Actually, probably not. It might have been a great investment, but you wouldn't want to spend money that's going to have that potential for appreciation. So chapter 2 is the future of money. I think you'll find it enlightening. Chapter 3, though, goes a little bit further, and it talks about Biden bucks, or central bank digital currency, or programmable money that is soon to come out. In July, the Federal Reserve announced FedNow, available, tested through 40-some banks, and ready to roll to create central bank digital currencies. We've talked about them on this program before, but CBDC is essentially money that the federal government owns and they let you have a use license to. And if they like what you're spending money on, they'll let you spend it. If they like you, they'll let you keep it. But if you've done something, you violated the social credit scoring system of ESG or DEI, and diversity, equity, and inclusion, I prefer DIE, diversity, inclusion, equity, then it spells die because it's terrible. But if you don't line up with the federal government, they just make your money go away, or they make it not useful. You go to buy gasoline and you can't buy it because, no, you should only have an electric car. You want to buy a gas-powered stove. No, you're not allowed to have that. Or maybe you've been really good and they'll let you go on a trip, or maybe you've not been really good and you can't leave your zip code. Here's a $10 bill. It's got the picture of Alexander Hamilton on the front of it. You know, it's kind of sad. When I was 10 years old, everything that I could buy for $1 now costs about $10. That's the cost of inflation. It's just paper. It's not backed by anything. You can't exchange it for gold and silver. You used to, but you can't do that anymore. And that's unfortunate. You know, pirates wouldn't accept this. Pirates, they wanted gold and silver. Patriots, the founders of this nation, also wanted gold and silver coin. In fact, they put a provision in the Constitution, 17 words, that said states could only make gold and silver coins tender within the states. That's why I wrote this new book, Pirate Money, Discovering the Founders' Hidden Plan for Economic Justice and Defeating the Great Reset. It will explain exactly the history of money and exactly why gold and silver coins can be made modern with new technology and a useful monetary system. PirateMoneyBook.com.